What's up, my peeps? It's Cynthia, the fitness and wellness bully here, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, I am the real life fit to fat and soon to be fit again, but this time through menopause transition. So today I am happy that I have an awesome fitness wellness ambassador here to have a real conversation about how when you're in this season of our lives that we have to relearn our bodies, adjust, and sometimes it's difficult to do that, but you know what I always say, you got to love yourself through the process. So before I bring her on, I want to give her flowers and read her bio, and then we'll talk to Miss Tasha Edwards. All right. So Tasha Martinier Edwards is a Chicago-born health and wellness professional, educator, and advocate who believes deeply in community and in movement as a human right, not a luxury. Her work is rooted in the belief that movement should be accessible in every way, physically inclusive of all bodies, emotionally safe and sacred, and financially attainable. At the center of everything she does is one goal: to help people feel seen, safe, and successful. Raised in the Robert Taylor homes of Chicago's South Side, Tasha was often forced to sit on the sidelines due to finances. Those early experiences shaped a lifelong commitment to equity and wellness. At just 9 years old, she started her own dance team at a local boys and girls club so that every child who wanted to dance could. No studio, no formal training required. The same commitment lives on today as she offers scholarships for every event she leads because, in her words, everybody deserves the right to be healthy, happy, and whole. Tasha is the first person in her family to earn both a bachelor's and master's degree. She holds a master's degree in counseling and is a board certified health and wellness coach, certified lifestyle medicine coach, personal trainer, meditation and yoga nidra instructor, comprehensively trained Pilates instructor, and an experienced registered yoga teacher. With over 30 certifications and more than 20 years in the health and wellness industry, she has served as a master trainer for Pilates and as a subject matter expert for ACE, NASM, AFA, where she is featured in the group fitness certification. Her work and her voice has been featured in Fitness Magazine, Pilates Anytime, Balanced Body, and numerous podcasts. She has presented internationally at conferences including Idea World Fitness, Idea Personal Training Institute, Pilates on Tour, Pilates Methods Alliance, Momentum Fest, Can Fit Pro. She has served as an ambassador for Under Armour, Now Foods, Polar, and Lululemon, and is a 2020 recipient of the Wellness for All grant from Athleta, and Movement Foundation, awarded in support of health and wellness and empowerment of BIPOC women. After experiencing a divorce, job loss, menopause, a loss of her nonprofit, and nearly 90% of her business, Tasha was forced into a season of deep recalibration. What appeared as going silent was in reality a period of navigating profound physical changes, depression, anxiety, financial loss, and the unraveling of partnerships that proved to be more performative than supportive. That lived experience now informs her work with even greater compassion, honesty, and integrity. Currently, Tasha teaches online own practice and yoga farm Ithaca and has dozens of on-demand workouts available on Pilates and TV Fitness. She also is featured as a subject matter expert in the Mental Health for Professionals curriculum created by John W. Brick Foundation. She has taught movement to humans ranging from 2 and 90 and is always willing to step in to support community-centered causes when called upon. A mother of 2 grown children, grandmother of 2, Tasha enjoys books, music, crime documentaries. I do too. Above all, she remains committed to being an advocate, a disruptor, which I love, and a voice for those who feel unseen. walking her talk with integrity, courage, and heart. And with that being said, I have to do that. I'm going to bring in Tasha. Uh-oh. Come on, bring in Tasha. All right. Hey, Tasha.
Hey, girl.
How are you? You know, I had to give you
Look,
that.
I'm like, wow, I've lived a full life. And that's
Yes, you have.
only part of the story. Yeah,
Right. That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Amazing. So I'm glad you was able to join me. I reached out to you because you posted some um, videos on Facebook that was really honest about how you are feeling, you know, in this time in your season in your life. And it resonated with me, as I know it resonates with a lot of females going through this. And I was like, oh my God, I feel seen. I get you, you know?
Hmm.
But before we start, I wanted to kind of give people a background of how we met because it is kind of hilarious a little bit on
Yeah.
how I approached you. So it was about, I think it was 13 years ago, believe it or not, maybe a little less than that.
Wow. Yeah,
It
something like
was,
that.
yeah, it was at the SCW Mania Fitness Conference. I would
Hmm.
go every year because owning a fitness studio, I wanted to find new classes that I wanted to offer my members. And then I saw Piloxing. I think I actually took a class. I don't know if you taught the session that I went to. Um,
I don't think I taught that session. I think I supported that session.
yes.
But yeah, I don't think I taught that session.
Right. And so full transparency as to why I approached you when when we talk about it is because representation is everything. So when I saw flyers, banners, and if I don't see someone that looks like me, I kind of question whether or not, with 90% of my members being Black, would that be something that they would be interested in? Now, I took the class, I took the session, and it was good, but I wanted to get your opinion. So when I saw you and I saw that you were a master instructor for piloxing, I had to just ask you straight up, is this for us? I'm assuming that's what I said, but you can elaborate on that.
Yeah, no, something like that. And
Yeah.
and and it was okay to ask because, you know, a lot of spaces did not, still don't feel welcoming to us. Is it something that we would jive with? Is it something that we could really feel and not feel like we were perpetrating having to be somebody else in order to do it? Was there soul to it? Was it available to our bodies? Was the music things that we recognize? And all of that is important and valuable.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's exactly why I had to ask. And so you
Mhm.
mentioned to me that you were teaching a master class. I think it was a few weeks after that. And I asked a few of my members who I trust, did you guys want to attend the master class with me? And they were like, yeah, we would. They liked it. And then I decided to sign up for your training and took the Piloxing training and took it from, and that's how we met. And then I believe we were both presenters at Black Girls Run, if memory serves me. Did you ever do Black Girls Run, or is
I
my
did.
brain
I
just
I did do Black Girls Run. It was later on that year. It was
Mhm.
2014 in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I did. I
Yes.
did.
And we briefly spoke with one another. And that was the last time. I don't know if you remember that. I actually, either you found my session where I was teaching the ripped class, or I found you, but I recall us meeting up and just saying, hey girl, hey, you know,
Hmm.
because and that was the last time we physically saw one another. But I've always followed you because I think you do great work. You're very honest about things, and I just love that about you. So
Thank you for
mhm.
saying that because it's I feel like a lot of fitness and wellness is built on a lie. And we have people attaining to be something that doesn't really exist. And so I think the part of being honest is honoring everybody on their journey and letting them know that it's okay. And a lot of what they think is perfect and the people that they see with their perfectly, curated feeds isn't always the real story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think when we make space for people to live their real stories, there's less shame about where you start or where you are or where you end up or where you circle back to. I have just found that it has benefited me to tell the truth because I have lived a lie.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I feel you on that one. And I recall following you that recently you have been posting a lot of videos, like I mentioned before, that resonated with me because I was feeling like, what happened? Where's my body? Why is it
Hmm.
betraying me? And I want
Hmm.
to start by sharing a video that you posted on Facebook. And then I was like, I need to have a conversation with Tasha on my YouTube channel because this resonates with not only me, but a lot of women out there that are going through this. So I want to kind of share that and then kind of get your thoughts on, how you were feeling when you started that.
Okay.
So here we go. Now, I won't be able to do the music because I don't want a copyright strike, but you are dancing to Rock With You, Michael Jackson. And what were you thinking? Because you mentioned in this post that when you saw this video on your phone, you cringed. So kind of talk about that.
Yeah, it was just a challenging time in life as far as, I was less than a year out from, and in my 20-year marriage. I had lost my job a couple months before that. And what I was doing was renting a dance studio 1 hour a week just to go in there and kind of try to bring myself some happiness. The depression was really, really heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know, having to watch myself was hard because I remember doing this very routine, hundreds of times in a completely different body.
Yeah.
And I am just like, what the hell happened to me? Not that I did not know, but it's hard to look at it even now. It's like let me talk about I can feel the grief of what the process has been like to remember, 60 pounds ago,
Mm-hmm.
what that felt like.
Yeah.
Um, and to try to have something familiar in my space, which was that song, which was that track that I taught in Zumba all the time, to sort of embrace this body, um, whatever it's doing, right now, and to try not to feel shame about that. Like I let somebody down, like I'm still the same person.
Right.
And sometimes I need to remind myself that joy can still live inside this body.
Right. Yeah. I definitely can resonate with that because and we've briefly talked about this. I've been going to counseling to kind of deal with accepting what's going on with my body. And I think it hurts. A lot of people are feeling this way, but I think it's a little worse when you're a fitness professional because I know for me, I would do something where I would avoid people. Like if I was in a
Mhm,
grocery store and I saw
mhm,
someone who took my class or was a member of my studio or was an instructor that was at the gym before I opened my studio, I worked for a Gold's Gym. So if it was an
mhm,
instructor that I worked with, I would literally avoid them because in my mind I was thinking they're like, "Oh my gosh, she just let herself go."
mhm,
She's not working out anymore. She's not eating right anymore. And that's really not the case. So I had to learn through counseling that it you have that plate in your mind and it may not work out that way. They may be happy to see you. they liked your classes. They liked coming to you. They liked you being the personal trainer because of what you can offer, not necessarily because of how you looked. Now that may have played a part in it, but she was trying to get me to understand that they like you as a person. It doesn't diminish what you can offer people.
Yeah, I think that's generally true. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I remember having a conversation with a client many years ago, and it actually happened on Facebook. And I remember her saying something like, "You can't gain weight. You can't let us down."
Oh,
You know, and I was like, "I'm human." She's like, "No, you're our example. You can't let us down."
that's a lot
And
of pressure.
yeah, it is a lot of pressure, and it is, for me to still be preaching movement and all of that, I did. There was a part of me that felt like I let people down.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that hurt more than me feeling like I let myself down, or so.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy how um who we were physically was still so much a part of our existence as fitness professionals. We were the people who other people attained to be like, you
Mm-hmm.
know and it is projection. You're in your head thinking this person is going to think I fell off.
Right.
I avoided people too,
Yeah.
very much so. I didn't even want to go outside.
Yeah.
And so I think some of that was realizing that the same people who were in my class 15 years ago are also now 15 years older.
Mm-hmm.
They too have experienced, body changes or whatever. And I do think it's harder on us because now you can't go into spaces that you used to go into, because those spaces are still based on how you look,
Right.
not who you are, and I
Right.
think that's why this time has been so valuable, because now we can create new spaces for people who are experiencing the same thing we are.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm,
And it's exactly why I wanted to have this conversation because
mhm,
I think these conversations are missing.
mhm,
You know what I
mhm.
mean? Um, yeah. So how are you navigating with the changes that are happening or that have happened?
Exactly what you said, therapy. Honestly,
Mhm.
there were days that I thought I was losing my mind. I would just get up and I would just cry. I would cry. I wouldn't want to be in the mirror. I have boxes of workout clothes that I can no longer fit. Um, and I just became very isolated, and I felt like not just therapy, but journaling, like being honest about how I felt, even if I felt like, everything isn't content. And so sometimes I had to write letters to myself,
Mhm.
to sort of deal with it and identify it as what I consider grief. There are all these stages of grief and denial and acceptance, and you bounce between them. And to honestly see it as that I wasn't being vain. Yes, I miss my body. I also miss the life that went along with that.
Mm.
You know, um, I missed not waking up and gaining 5 pounds and not sure how it happened. I miss
Mhm.
that, or feeling strong. Menopause brings joint issues, and
Yeah.
now all of a sudden my back is hurting. Now all of a sudden my knees are hurting because my body isn't used to holding this much weight, or hadn't been, for a while. And also surrounding myself with people who reflected back who I was internally, that were
Mhm.
not caught up in who I used to be as their teacher or
Right.
as their trainer. I needed people in my life who could speak my value back to me, sometimes um, lovingly harsh,
Yeah.
to be able to call me back to reality so I can call myself back from what felt like hell.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally get that. I get that.
Yeah.
So You mentioned we mentioned the avoidance because we both did it.
Mhm,
I actually had a
mhm,
breakthrough where I actually saw someone and started to avoid, and I actually went and initiated a conversation. It was
mhm,
great. They were happy to see me. I was happy to see them. It was a good experience. So that was a little breakthrough I had.
mhm,
Um, so let's kind of talk about. I know we both briefly discussed GLP-1s, and
mhm,
I mentioned that I went on it kicking and screaming,
mhm,
because, and I'm still a little iffy on it, but
mhm.
it was doctors and registered dietitian going, just try it for your mental, and then
Right.
that's what kind of clicked. So, have you been on it, and what has been your experience, or what are your feelings on it?
Yeah, this is sort of like round 3 for me.
Okay.
Many years ago, I was on Ozempic, and it was, I think that my doctor thought that I was losing my mind, and she felt like I needed something to keep me from self-destructing.
Mm-hmm.
I was eating right, I was exercising, and she said, I don't prescribe this to anyone who is not eating right, who is not exercising.
Mm-hmm.
Try it, because at that point nothing was happening. Everybody was telling me I wasn't in menopause, so I'm beating up on myself, as if the lettuce I was eating was now 5,000 calories instead of 50. It was like self-blame.
Yeah.
And I stayed on it for a while, and to be honest with you, I don't know how much I lost because I avoided scales because of the mental um, pressure it put on
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I do know, I mean, I look back now and I'm like, okay, I was able to fit in my clothes. I'm like, okay, I can see the difference, but then right before my divorce, I got a full-time job. I switched insurance. My insurance wouldn't pay for it. And so I gained all the way back and then some.
Mhm.
My second experience was earlier last year, where I was on it probably close to 3 months and I lost 0 pounds. And
Mm,
that
mm.
was working out, that was working with a dietitian. My doctor put me on it to help with the inflammation. There was something going on with my body.
Yeah.
So now I'm on round 3, and it can be discouraging because I think the only people who believe that GLP-1s are the easy way out are people who have never been on them.
Mhm.
Um, you know, a workout every day. I eat well. It's been 3 months. I've lost 8 pounds. When
Mhm.
I look at other people who, take these shots and they lose 9 pounds in 1 week,
Right.
um, knowing that there are people who are on these shots so that they can not work out and eat whatever they want and still lose weight, and to feel like I'm doing everything right and it's not working for me, you
Mhm.
know, opens the door to say maybe it's GLP-1 and something else. Like, I never want to shut off what could be a possibility to help me with whatever the root cause is, because apparently it's not just I need to lose some weight. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because if
Yeah.
that were the case, it would be working. And
Yeah.
I will say I went through my periods, and I still do, that there are certain populations of people, this is Tasha's personal opinion,
Yeah.
that if you're using it as a crutch to not do something else,
Mhm.
then I don't think that you should take it,
Yeah.
because there are healthier habits that need to be learned. Because if you were to be pulled off of it, um, and you still have the same habits that you had before you went on it, it hasn't solved much except you're slim. And I think we need to look at health and wellness as more than just being slim. We're talking about, a lifetime of, habits. No, I don't want to be taking a GLP-1 until I'm 80,
Right.
but if I
Right.
ever had to get off of it again, where something else shifted and I couldn't be on it again, at least I would know I had a set of healthy habits that at least helped me in some way, even if it didn't help with the weight.
Yeah. And I'm with you on the whole weight thing because I preach not relying on the scale. To me, it's more body fat, right? Reducing your body fat, which is important, and just your recomping of your body. You could be 250 pounds, but fit as a fiddle, right? Because
Mhm,
you have muscle. So I'm big on not being on a scale too, because the scale can affect your mental, but
Mhm.
I think it's more important to really look at how your clothes are fitting, really look at how your body composition is changing. And I hate when doctors don't take into account, in my opinion, body fat percentage. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? I
Mhm.
just think that's something that they need to take into account.
Yeah, and I will say my body fat increased substantially when I went into menopause, that sort
Yes.
of thing, and losing the estrogen and all that kind of stuff. So I stopped looking
Yes.
at that too.
Oh, you
It
did?
was like
Okay.
now,
Gotcha.
yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have a fancy scale that does all of that. And I just can't even stand to look at it.
Yeah.
I was following my weight on this round of GLP-1s to give feedback to my doctor about whether it was working or whether they wanted to adjust the dose or whatever. But I've
Yeah.
even stopped weighing every week. Now it's down to twice a month
Mhm.
because I'm like wanting to, shake the scale. Like, how dare you tell me that I'm having to stick myself
Right.
every week and this is not working? And I'm, watching people who don't work out, celebrate that they've lost 40 pounds in 2 weeks. I mean,
Yeah.
I know this is an exaggeration, but,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm really over here doing my best. And
Yeah.
I think that's part of the lesson as well, is learning to accept that everybody is different. It's possible that we have rebound issues
Mhm.
from being on a go all the time, from
Yeah.
putting our bodies through so much that others may not have experienced.
Yes.
It's stress. I will say that I no longer have children that I need to drive around or whatever, or
Mhm.
I I live alone. I no longer can call somebody and say, "Hey, can you have me something to eat when I get home?" So it's learning an entirely different way of life and really defining wellness as something bigger than weight. Although I would be really happy if this worked.
Mhm. I feel you on that one.
Yeah.
Because when I tell you kicking and screaming, I mean, even to this day, this week, I'm like, my husband's like tired of me going, oh my God, it's time for me to stick myself again.
Hmm.
It's like it almost feels like a chore, if
Hmm.
that makes
Hmm.
sense.
Hmm.
And
It does.
yeah. And you kind of mentioned how we as fitness professionals put our bodies through a lot, teaching hours and hours almost every day. And then my silly butt is not only teaching 3, 4 hours a day, I'm training for marathons and things of that nature.
Hmm.
So I really put my body through it. And then
Hmm.
went to a functional medicine doctor and determined that I had adrenal dysfunction. And I think you mentioned that you may have had that as well, adrenal fatigue.
Yeah, yeah, I did. And the only answer to adrenal fatigue is rest.
Yes.
And at the time, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Fitness was my full-time job, and I needed to work.
Hmm.
That was it. When I finally stopped teaching so much, after the divorce, in the middle of the job drama, I had a doctor tell me it's probably going to take your body close to 2 years to recover. And I was like, you have
Hmm.
got to be kidding me. I need you to give me some type of pill. I mean, I had every supplement. I had progesterone, estrogen, testosterone. I was taking testosterone shots at a point. I had the the troches. I had the implants. I had all of it. And
Hmm.
none of it worked for me.
Yeah.
And so I knew it was cortisol levels. I knew it was my adrenals, but I couldn't stop. And now, here I am having to now be responsible for myself, trying to now work this full-time job and hold on to pieces of my fitness and wellness career while trying to heal from this divorce. It was like having 25 balls in the air, and I am not a juggler.
Yeah. Yeah. So how are
Yeah.
you navigating through all of that? Like, how have you changed knowing that you have adrenal fatigue and going through everything that you've gone through? What advice would you give someone, I guess is really my question, that's going through the same thing to navigate through this? Because we all have it. It may not be the same situations, but we are
Yeah.
all, in my opinion, especially during this season of our lives, going through things.
Yeah, I think one of the habits that I have always had that has been, you know, a pretty big deal because I realize that other people don't do it, is I go to
Mhm.
bed on time.
Mm. Mhm.
I have my phone set, it goes off at 9 p.m. If you call me after 9 p.m., unless I'm staring at it, which 100 times there's a chance that I'm not,
Mhm.
I won't get it till in the morning.
Yeah.
I have had to redefine rest, not as being lazy. I
Yes.
think culturally, um, the two were always, it was like, if you're resting, you're lazy, you should be doing something, 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 something. And having to let go of having to be busy all the time and having to be everything for everybody all the time.
Yeah.
There were times that I had to say no when I wanted to teach, or people were so used to me being able to do whatever because fitness was my full time job. I had a more flexible schedule. Now, kind of drawing boundaries around my time, um, walking for
Mhm.
sure, even if I have to walk laps in my house.
Mhm.
I find that walking has been better for me than a lot of the higher intensity
Mhm.
stuff that I used to do.
Yeah. It's not good for us.
Um,
It's
no.
yeah.
And one of the other things that I did not do then was try to feed my body regularly,
Mhm.
because a body that's not fed is a body that's under stress.
Yes.
That even if you're sitting still, your body's still running. And I realized that with, my disordered eating history and being too busy to eat, that played a part in my cortisol being so high.
Mhm.
And I was just high strung. It's like I was ready to respond. I wanted to save the day for everybody.
Yeah.
And having to back up off of that to say, today, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to drink this tea,
Mhm.
and I'm going to sit on the couch and I'm going to watch television, and it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
A whole retraining of not feeling like the world is on fire and it is my job to put the fire out.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that because you're right. When you have adrenal fatigue, the key is rest. And
Mhm,
for me, that was a big adjustment for me. Like when I was told, "Oh, you need to stop running. You should only walk no more than 30 minutes a day. You need to reduce your strength training from 4 to 5 days a week to maybe 2, 3 days a week." And I'm going, you're destroying me because
mhm,
that's part of my identity. That's part of my life. And I need to learn how to adjust, which I've learned to adjust.
mhm,
So,
mhm.
but it
It's
was,
it
go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, I was just gonna say it's necessary. I think that we bumped into some walls along the way and ignored it.
Mhm.
Then we slammed into a wall that knocked us out, and then we had to respond.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. It's
Yeah.
it's it's I'm just glad I'm finally learning to sit down. You know what
Mhm,
I mean? Just sit down. And if I am not feeling, because I would force myself. Like some days I would be like, oh my God, I don't feel like it's leg day. I don't feel like it. But I would make
mhm,
myself do it. Now, if I don't feel like it, I won't do it. And
yeah,
then now, yeah.
absolutely.
And I'm learning not to feel guilty about it.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
When my body needs rest, if my and I struggle with that. Like my
Yeah.
goal is to get up and be at the gym at 6 so that I can get to my client on time. And I wake up and I feel like I've been bodied, like I've been hit by a truck. You
Hmm.
know, there's a part of Tasha that says you're being lazy and you just don't want to work out and
Uh-huh.
get up. You
Yeah.
know, um, but I had to fight it and say, this 30 extra minutes in the bed serves me better today than going into the gym, half doing weights just to say I did it because I'm so exhausted.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. I guess I'm
Mhm.
I'm I'm lucky I have the luxury. I have a I train people in my home studio now because as I closed my fitness studio I had years ago.
Mhm,
But yeah, I totally understand that. Now I know we
mhm,
had a lot of things in common. We're both from the Midwest. I'm from Detroit. We're
mhm,
both fitness professionals. And we live plant-based lifestyles. So
mhm.
you talk a little bit about that and how that has helped, maybe hurt your journey through this season in our lives?
Yeah, I think it helped and I think it hurt.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you, I feel like I live. When I moved to Alabama over 20 years ago, plant-based options weren't as accessible as they are, right now.
Yes.
And I feel like trying to compensate for what I didn't have, because the busier I got, the less time I had to cook. When I first became plant based, I was a stay at home mom.
Mm-hmm.
I had time.
Yeah.
The more I started working, the less time I had, the more substitutions started coming, the more I started eating those or whatever. And I could never eat on the run because there
Mm-hmm.
was no pulling up to get something to eat. And so I feel like I missed a lot of meals from um, lack of access when I needed it.
Right.
My family was not plant based. I also know that there was a time that I was not getting nearly enough um, protein for what I was
Routine.
putting my body through.
Yeah.
It's not that plant based protein wasn't sufficient, it's just that I didn't have the time to eat and prepare the protein that I should have been taking in.
Right.
You know, I think on the flip side that now, where it's crazy about menopause, that menopause can mess with your cholesterol.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad has high cholesterol. And so right now, my numbers aren't super high, but they're higher than they've ever been. And I was told that part of that is hereditary. It's
Mm-hmm.
nothing that I can do about it. But I do often think, what would have happened if I were not plant based?
Yeah.
The doctor told me, you're doing everything that I would tell somebody to do. And
Yeah.
so I think, what would my life have been like if I had lost my business, lost my nonprofit, went through a divorce, and I could turn to a Reese's cup? Um, because that was my comfort food. It kind of almost drew a line in the sand, because if I wanted something that was not beneficial to my health, I had to go look for it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't like, there was a vegan corner store.
Right.
There was no such thing. And
Right.
and so I am thankful that that part of my life happened, that it made things less detrimental than it could have been.
Yeah.
But also, I realized that there were parts of the plant-based life that I was not living fully.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Nutrients and things that I may have been missing because it wasn't balanced. It wasn't like I was surrounded by people who ate plant-based. I did the
Right.
best that I could.
Yes.
Um, I do wonder sometimes if that, lower protein in for me has something to do with this. I do. I think it all the time.
Yeah.
Um, and so, you know, it's a toss up. There are days now, every day that I do ask myself, is this still the right lifestyle for me?
Yeah. 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 Going through this whole ordeal of you have adrenal fatigue and things of that nature, uh, I was asked to try to reintroduce animal products in my diet to make
Same.
sure that I get enough protein. And I tried. I think the only thing that I am doing and is very rare is eggs.
Okay.
And I tried fish. I tried and didn't try beef because I stopped eating beef when that whole mad cow disease situation was going on. So that
Yeah.
was years ago. I tried chicken. I tried everything. And the taste for me, what made me plant based, it's been about 18 years now. was my body was telling me they're doing something to the food. My body was telling me this, to the point
Mhm.
where there was always an aftertaste after I ate chicken or anything. It was just, even I used to love shrimp. It was something about the taste of the shrimp that just turned my body all the way off. And when I tried to reintroduce these things, I could still taste that aftertaste. And I just
Mhm.
couldn't. Now I could say I gave it a college try, but I just couldn't do it.
Same.
Yeah.
I went through a period of working with eggs, and I took eggs like you would take Robitussin.
Right.
Like I took it to the head because I had to,
Right.
scramble up and swallow it and be done with it.
Yeah.
I tried last year, I had a dietitian, my inflammatory markers were very high, and
Yeah.
she wanted me to try to introduce salmon in my diet. So I ate it, but it was like I felt sick every time I ate it because I didn't want it. But
Mhm.
I was kind of like, if this is going to help my body be better or whatever. And I went
Right.
3 months, like trying to eat it a couple of times a week. And when my inflammatory markers didn't change, I said I'm not doing it anymore because
Yeah.
I hated mealtime. Like it
Yeah.
was easy because I didn't have to drain the tofu, I didn't have to season it, I didn't have
Right.
to do whatever. I could just
Right.
pull the salmon out the freezer, defrost, and put it in the air fryer. It was all
Right.
good. Like
Yeah.
I love the convenience of it, but eating it, I was just like it felt
Yeah.
like torture. You
Yeah.
know, it did, and I can't say that I won't go to try it again. But like for me, to be honest with you, um, when I think fish and chicken, I do not think salmon and rotisserie chicken. I think catfish with two pieces of white bread
And fried
and
chicken
some
and some wings.
coleslaw, or some wings fried hard with some
Right.
lemon pepper.
Right.
And so it's difficult for me because I'm like, if I have to eat it, I want that. I don't want this.
I am so with you on that one. I am so with you on that one. But
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, I
yeah,
totally get it. Yeah.
yeah.
So, again, like you said, you may try it again. I may try it again, but I swear I gave it the college try, and my body was like, I don't want it. I don't want it.
Yeah.
You know.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, lastly, what advice would you give women out there that are going through menopause transition, things of that nature? What advice would you give them to learn how to accept what's going on and then taking steps to help us feel better, you know?
My first piece of advice to anyone who asks me is get a therapist.
Mhm.
It can be very hard to, and I mean, I enjoy the little anecdotes that are on social media, and it's cute and all, but it doesn't make me feel better. It just
Mhm.
makes me feel like, oh, at least I'm not the only one.
Only
But
one. Yeah.
when it gets quiet and I'm in my head, it doesn't help me.
Right.
So therapy for sure. Um, buy clothes that fit
Yeah.
so that you are not driving yourself nuts trying to fit into clothes that you used to be able to wear.
Mhm.
Um, if you can afford it, talk to a functional medicine doctor because there may
Mhm.
be, menopause can bring about other issues that you didn't even know you had.
Right. Can you give
You know,
examples of that?
yeah, my cholesterol for one, like I had no
Right.
idea. I
Yeah.
had no idea.
Yeah.
Um, and to already be, prone to depression, it certainly triggered my depression. It certainly triggered my mobility.
Mhm.
Again, like all of a sudden my shoulders were hurt. I mean, I've had two shoulder surgeries, but I mean, it was a different type of thing. Or now I get up
Yeah.
in the morning and my hip hurts,
Hips. Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
is, find a movement practice that feels like joy, that does not feel like punishment.
Mhm.
We beat up on ourselves and feel like everything has to be boot camp and hit when the truth of the matter is your adrenals may not like high intensity at all.
Right.
And to find support, people in your life who can hold your true feelings without trying to tell you to get over it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome advice. It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It, it's a process, and there's no way out of it but through it.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. Well, Tasha, thank you so much. I appreciate you having this discussion with me. I
Oh,
think
you're
it,
welcome.
I think it will, even if it just reaches one person and helps one
Hmm.
person to get through
Hmm.
this, our job is done, right?
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. So I will definitely your socials, because I'm sure people are going to want to follow you. Your socials will definitely be in the comment box, pinned comment, so people can follow you and maybe reach out to you. You do virtual training too, don't you? Or have you?
I I don't anymore. What I'm
Okay.
looking to is, and I was thinking about this yesterday. It's funny that you brought that up,
Hmm.
because I feel like I found out I was in menopause in the middle of COVID,
Ah, gotcha.
you
Yeah.
know, and I feel like there's a part of me, while every class that I can teach 6 classes a week, 5 of them are virtual.
Hmm.
And while I enjoy my people, I I mourn being able to really connect with people like I did in person. I miss
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And so part of my work this year is to not sit on my gifts because I'm uncomfortable in the way that they're being translated. And so I'd like to come back into the virtual space, a little
Mhm.
bit more, and to be able to offer my gifts to the collective,
Yeah.
as we're all going through it. And seeing what happens. It's like you said, if it helps one person,
Hmm.
then it's fine. So I'm definitely looking forward to going back to, because right now I'm teaching for other organizations online, but
Yeah.
I'd like to go back to having something that Tasha offered. Um, yeah, just because it's time for me to get over myself, and
Okay.
connection can still happen. And even though things aren't the way that they used to be, it doesn't mean that something beautiful can grow out of what is.
All right. I love that. All right.
Yeah,
Well, on that note, again, I appreciate you, coming on here. We trying to help people.
we
Feel better
trying.
about yourself. Trying to help ourselves feel better too in the meantime.
Absolutely,
At the same
absolutely,
time. Well, thank you
absolutely.
again, Tasha. I appreciate you. And I hope you have a great day and stay warm, child, because we're in the middle of
Absolutely.
this.
I know we're about to get a cold front, and it's
Yeah.
pouring down rain, and I don't know if I should like go outside because I'm getting cabin fever and go outside before the ice happens, or if I
Right.
should just stay in the house and say, you know what, it's all good. It's all good.
All right. Well, thank you, Tasha. All right. Well, there you have it, my peeps. I hope you guys really enjoyed this discussion, an honest, realistic discussion. I hope you take heed to some of the advice that Tasha provided. And remember, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and share with a friend who's going through the same thing in their season in our lives. All right. So, as I always say, this menopause transition is not easy, but you have to love yourself through the process. All right. So, until next time, people, peace.